Hello Leo friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Leo August 2025 astrology horoscope forecast. Leo leaps into the limelight this month with so much star power focused directly on your sign. We're going to get way into that, but we do have some other deeper discussions to have, including how laws of physics are behind the astronomical movements that filter into our astrological experience, specifically having to do with the eclipse lineup and what that can look like for Leo. This is for you. If Leo is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Leo placement you're listening for, what I'm going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. And late degree Leo friends, so birthdays like August 15th through the rest of the sign, or Leo degrees 23 degrees through the rest of the sign, I suggest you additionally listen to my Virgo report, as your very late degree friends will benefit from both readings. So one part, this circle has so much meaning, and there are certain points on it that carry even more. This particular line, which would be the 9 o'clock position if we were viewing this as a clock, is the place where the cycle ends and a new cycle begins. So we have the sun having moved into that space. We have Mercury retrograde and then going direct this month in that space. Venus will cross over that line as well. So this is all about rebirth. And of course, birthday time. Happy birthday to Leo. Friends, if you're watching for your sun sign, birthday time is all about another chance to redo your life and have rebirth with your solar cycle repeating. But even if the sun isn't the Leo sign that you're watching for, if you have other Leo positions, the sun crossing over your Leo position does ignite that energy of rebirth. And all of this energy with Mercury retrograde and Venus retrograde is showing us this. Okay, so this is a rare and golden opportunity to redefine how the world sees you. This point in time, or this point in the chart, shows how it's basically you're coming out of the ethers into the world. This is your birth point. This is the energy that you launch into the human existence with. And it also represents how people see you, how you define yourself. And so you have a wonderful chance to redo that. There's strategy behind it. There's magnetism behind it. There's reclamation behind it. This first house that all of these planets are going through for Leo have to do with your physical body. And you may have a lot of heat, if you have a lot of inflammation in your body, if you have inflammation-based illnesses, this may be a time where you're feeling some of that even flare. But the flaring could be purposeful because you can start to ask the questions, what are you eating? What are you drinking? What are you doing? What are you not doing? What are you thinking? Everything in your life, what may be underlying that inflammation? And convert that inflammation to a soothed body system while using the fire of the Leo energy rather than inflame to ignite other parts of your life where they can be more useful. Sometimes if you're not directing that heat where it needs to go, it builds up in your body and can create these types of problems on the energy level. So you have a chance to rewrite all of this. And with Mercury going retrograde, all of July, we had that energy, the shadow period and the retrograde. August 11th, Mercury will go direct. And then August 26th is when the post-shadow transit period passes. So we're into our last open period free from personal planet retrogrades for the whole year, August 26th. But the retrograde process going through retrograde in your sign is definitely asking you to question things. It's helping you to dance with things that were from your past to reevaluate whether you want them to be part of your future. It's made you ask the question, what are you using your fire for? Are you directing it? Are you redirecting it? Is it accumulating? And just general things about who you are, who you want to be, who you're becoming, and if you're on a trajectory that will put you into a future that you want to experience. So I'm just going to draw a little U here. All right, see how beautiful you are. And the things that you did before now led up to what you're experiencing now. Okay, so the decisions you made. And now the things that you're doing at this moment are going to put you into the next version of yourself. All right, so what you want out of it, you have to put into it. And this is the evaluation process that you are going through. For instance, let's say you have to make a big trip in the morning and you have the choice to get gas now or get gas later. If you get gas now, you may have a smoother time. You may be sure to be on time. You may feel, less anxious. But if you don't get the gas now, you may feel more anxious. The stress may cause you to not sleep well. You may be late, and all of those future selves are really determined, or future experience in your future self is determined by the things you do or don't do on a very small and a very big level. Even when it comes down to just small acts like that. So you're in this major redefinition period. What you put in has put out what you have now. What do you like about what you have now? What else do you have to put in to keep that going? And what else do you have to put in to make the future experience more of what you want? So it's very exciting. And later when we go into the eclipses, I'll talk about timelines collapsing, and how you can get to that future outcome sooner, and how that may come in ways faster than you can imagine. But just for now, we'll keep it at this layer. This is an evaluation process. So this is a time of surging. As the month develops, it will be a time for action. It will be a time for decisions. Information is starting to come to you from the lunar eclipse at 15 degrees of Pisces on September 7th, the September 21st solar black moon, new moon eclipse at 29 degrees of Virgo. All the information from those eclipses are starting already. So you may see all throughout the month a resurgence of things that came up at the end of 2024, that came up in early 2025, and now are coming back again to be revisited, because this 2024 to 2027 eclipse cycle of Pisces and Virgo is activating certain parts of your being and bringing those things out of the unconscious space into the conscious space every 4 to 6 months. And now we're in a time where that's happening again. So as the month goes on, you'll be getting things that you need to respond to. The first half of the month, you're the earthworm. You're observing, okay? Because Mercury is retrograde, you're not going to be able to make anything stick with your decisions anyway, and you don't know everything you need to know. Until the middle of the month, you're the person standing on the shore, waiting to see what news the tides are bringing in. But then as the second half of the month is different. You'll feel the change. You'll start to be able to get forward movement again and not be the earthworm as much, and actually take action. But do know that for the big things, more information may be coming in September and even into October from these eclipses. All right, so we're definitely having a fire party in a very long-term way. Chiron, which has been in Aries for a long time, Saturn and Neptune, which have both recently moved into Aries, and for a shorter amount of time, Ceres is joining the fire party. And all of those planets make what's called a trine with Leo placement. So you've got short-term and long-term transits helping to fuel your fire, like tuning forks perfectly, in tune and in symmetry with each other. You are having opportunities that have to do with your expansion of your being. All of those Aries planets light up your 9th house of Sagittarius, having to do with broadening your horizons, seeing beyond the moment, seeing beyond your surroundings, seeing beyond, as far up as you can see, like from a cloud looking at the earth or from a mountain. Your viewpoints are changing. Old viewpoints are being tested. That has been happening from Chiron. Neptune is now coming and dissolving and spiritualizing viewpoints. And Saturn is coming in to redefine. Saturn is the skeleton of our being. It rules the mineral processes that build our skeleton and all of the discipline that is involved with systems that are at the core of the mechanics of everything that works in our lives, within our bodies and outside of our bodies. So you're having pressure on the things you believe, and you're having a chance to expand beyond your belief system. Ceres is there, giving you a chance to harvest things that you have done from the past. All of this can have to do with learning, teaching, publishing, writing. It can have to do with immigration, long distance travel, or international business, language learning. It can have to do with spiritual pursuits and expansion of your mind in other ways. So this is all happening, and you're also able to plant seeds now that will be your future crops, and Ceres is helping you to do that. With Chiron's movement through this placement and fellow fire sign, it's giving you an opportunity to help other people with things that have been painful or difficult for you. And it's bringing out the teacher and the leader in many, many Leos. If something was particularly difficult and you figured out ways to help those things, you may find that over time you have been starting to get louder about sharing that information with people. And you may have another launch point to do that. If you haven't launched, the way that you want to do this, the second half of the month, especially as you get out of that shadow period, August 26th and on, will hold great possibility for your publishing projects. Maybe you'll finish it up during the retrograde, for your speaking projects, for your social media places where you share. All of that, basically your voice, are ready to come out. And that's going to help you redefine your image, which is what we were talking about before. Now, while we have this fire party going on, we also have a ton of water. The moon will change quickly. I'm just going to cross that out. But we've got Vesta, Lilith, and Juno, 3 star goddesses, are all moving through Scorpio together, and they're very close in proximity, making conjunctions to one another. This is bringing a lot of energy to your home and family, a lot of emotion, a lot of connection. And these are squares. These are more challenged placements than the ones that we've been talking about. So in this process of redefinition, the way that people in your family or your birth family or the one that you've created, there may be some tension as to what wants to come out. They may see you in a certain way. Your relationship with them may be a certain way. You may be stuck in a matrix with them, which is how they've expected you to be. And now that you realize that that's not your true self, there is going to be this tension as you break out of that viewpoint that they may still be holding, that yourself is not true anymore. One of the ways you're going to be able to help transmute this energy is through tight collaborations with other people, having support that you need from these intimate Scorpio connections. They could be romantic or just friendships, or where you hire people to help you with your spiritual or emotional process. But this deep connection with other people, even if it's a chosen few, it doesn't have to be very many people. And the energy of Scorpio really is like getting very fixed on a small amount of intimacy with, not with like a crowd, but with, the depth of individual relationships. So those individual relationships are going to be what helps you crack out of this, this point of tension between how other people have seen you and how you are now seeing yourself. So there will be a lot of opportunities to do that. And, this angle, the 90-degree angle in physics also is a point of momentum. So you break through this, and then you can fly past the tension, and make a lot of progress. But you just have to get through that tension, and that's part of what's happening right now. Star Goddess Estrella is also bringing some more fire here, and she, in Sagittarius, moving through your 5th house of Leo, is helping to give you hope in your own creativity, hope in your own creations. And Estrella, very, very cool star goddess. She's basically the star maiden, and she was the last immortal to roam the earth with the mortals, trying to hold out for humanity's positive change. She then wound up retreating. Anyway, that's a long story. We're not going to get into it, but her energetic holds a lot of hope. And where you see her, especially in a nice angle, she can bring that hope. So you may notice that your life is getting filled more with hope, with expansion, with possibility, with seeing beyond, and you're seeing beyond the veil. Even with the many things that we know and the many things we've discovered, we don't know most of what there is to know yet. And the fact that people make new discoveries all the time is proof that there's so much that's not known. So this idea of being fixed into one way of being or one way of thinking or one option or one possible outcome, for your future self, you're starting to really break out of that as you see the infinite possibilities that will depend on what you put in to your current self and the decisions that you make. Now I want to talk about something. I usually will give you topics of science and weave them in. I try to do that in a more soft, gentle way and not go over the deep end. But I was inspired a couple of days ago from a visit that I made to the Cincinnati Museum of Science and Natural History, and they had a really cool exhibit in the space section where, here's me standing on this really cool floor where they're trying to show the Einstein law of general relativity. Okay, so this is going to get really cool. So definitely hang in there while I get a little bit technical, because this is awesome. So basically, Einstein proposed this theory in the early 1900s that mass and energy bend space-time. So basically mass, okay, a heavenly body will be there, and then time and space actually bend around that mass, okay? That's why individual heavenly bodies have their own gravitational fields, because, and that's why why time is different in space when we're away from those gravitational fields, because it's a completely different set of physics that is going on there. So this exhibit showed how the energetics pool around a body of mass, in this case, the person who's standing there, and it shows how that happens. So this is what goes on. This is why there are different gravitational fields for different heavenly bodies. And, many people know this, but if you haven't really thought about it, this is the time to really think about it. The principle says that time and space bend around the mass. That means that time changes. It changes. All right, so we're used to thinking of time as something linear. And in these examples I was giving you before, you did something, it produced this self, you're doing something now, it will produce the future self. But there are periods of time and things that you can pop into where time is different. And that's hard for the logical mind to get, but it's shown time and time again with these principles of physics that you actually can change time. So during eclipse time, when you've got three heavenly bodies, the sun, the moon, and the earth, lined up in what's called a syzygy, S-Y-Z-Y-G-Y. All right, terrible, crazy, weird word. Means a vector, basically where there's an alignment. And for this time, and for the time leading up to this and leading away from it after the alignment, the time and space around these heavenly bodies changes because they become more like one heavenly body. And the principle says that the greater the mass, the more this gravitational field. So when they combine, the way that time and space is bent around them actually increases, which is the reason why, okay, I've been talking about forever, if you've been listening to my work, how eclipse time can let you basically collapse timelines. And if you thought that I was being dramatic and that was just, I don't know what some people may think, but this is why. Okay, I didn't get into why this is true, but this is why it's true. And there are delicate processes that go along with karma related to the nodes of the moon, which are related to the eclipses and the eclipse cycles. So this syncs up perfectly with this bending of space and time, which is why eclipses can put you into that new house faster than you thought you were going to, put you into parenthood faster than you thought you were going to, put you into the new job, put you into that move, put you into a different state of being faster than you thought that regular linear timeline was taking you. It's because time and space is bending. And the orb of energy, the time that it takes before this actual alignment is the eclipse season. That's why in August, I'm talking about these eclipses now, because we are in the orb of relevant connection between this impending alignment. That's why eclipse season lasts a while before and a while after the actual alignments, which is why you're likely to start seeing eclipse changes now, radical trajectory shifts where if you put in something logical and you're going in this direction linearly, then all of a sudden you're like, whoop, now you're over here, because time and space is bending and the same rules don't apply because it's not linear. Okay, so this is crazy. Now, all of this is happening specifically for Leo. This is from 2024 into 2027. This is highlighting your my stuff versus our stuff. Houses, your money, other people's money, shared money, inheritances, money you win, money from your company, money that you're gifted, money that you're supported, spousal money, family money, the money you earn, all of this is what is getting energy shifted around. And so you will start to see your financial picture and the way you make money shuffling around. And that is, a very major manifestation. There are very, very many other ways this can manifest. And actually, I do have resources on that, which I'll cite later. But the point is that August is going to be intense. We've got a fire party. We've got some very deep work star goddesses are doing. We've got the August 9th full moon at 17 degrees of Aquarius, which is in your house of partnerships. Look for fullness, completion, fruition, drama for better and worse in the days around August 9th. Also community or neighbors or online connections or groups or internet-based projects to have something notable go on at that full moon. Then in the days around August 22nd to 23rd, depending on your time zone, we've got a new moon at 0 degrees of Virgo. This is very significant because this 0 degree new moon means that the next new moon is going to be at 29 degrees, which is that September 21st new moon in Virgo, because it's the second new moon in a sign. It's a black moon. So that eclipse that happens then is actually a black moon eclipse, which is very cool, very powerful. So you've got seed planting going on and a storyline that's continuing, that's sort of in process for years and is being brought out. So the seed planting for your future self that we talked about is very, very, very fertile now at this time. So, wow, big time, right? Also all in the mix of birthdays and Leo time and, all of this. So that's going to be something. Now, if you like how I teach and you want to learn, go to beastropro.com, beastropro.com, to see my astrology certification course. Very comprehensive, very systematic, can bring you to your goals, whether it's to help yourself and your family and friends, or whether it's to earn money as an astrologer. And if you want to understand how all of these outer planets, changing signs, Uranus in July, Jupiter in June, Pluto more recently, Saturn and Neptune very recently, how that can affect your personal chart, get my personalized outer planet transit report at anniebclarity.com, Annie, the letter B, clarity.com. If you want my eclipse resource page, retrograde resource page, zodiac health tips, 28-day virtual coaching program, my monthly written star report with sweet and salty dates, go to anniehelpsyou.com, put your name and email address in there, and join my free VIP community. If you want the August sweet and salty date newsletter, go to the archive link in the welcome letter after you sign up, and then search for August 2025 astrology in the search bar in the archive link, and you will find the newsletter. Halfway through, you'll find the sweet and salty dates, and the whole second half of that newsletter is dedicated to my favorite aspects and the ones to be most awareful and careful of. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.